So this PowerPoint goes over some of the things that I did for my library degree and some of the work that I got to do at some of the libraries that I participated at. Um, One, this was basically um, me showing students how to access the catalog and how to search the catalog for books depending on interest, author, or specific book title. And this was actually part of my collaborative lesson. So that's its own separate video. I did have a video clip of the weeding process. So this is the finished product of weeding out the books. I was able to get rid of about 4 books that were um, published in the 1990s. So got rid of them. And then one book, um, it was missing pages. So there was no way to fix that because we didn't have the pages. Um, this was done at Driscoll Middle School, checking in books that were turned in, and I did a lot of checking in, checking out, which is actually kind of fun until you see the past dues. But we were mostly overlooking that unless there was a giant past due date or a fine. Uh, Another image of some of the books that I got to catalog and eventually barcoded. So here's one image of the catalog and how I would type in the title and then create a copy and maybe change the code and add what location to find it in. The books on this cart are all of the books that I got to catalog. It seemed like a lot, over 50 titles, which was really fun after I knew how to code it according to my librarian at Driscoll Middle School. And then here are the barcodes and the spine labels. Some of my handiwork. Very proud of my work. The spine labels were a little bit trickier, especially for the thin um, books, because some of the labels would go off to the side, and I wanted to keep it in the middle because I didn't want people to struggle to search the location where you would find it. Now, Driscoll Middle School uh, is doing a different book covering to protect um, books that might be easily damaged, but it's not always the easiest. This type of like film cover was very hard to use. So I only got to do two books, and my handiwork wasn't the best, but I just had to deal with it. Then the Miller High School, all I did was protect the book sleeve and then fit it onto the hardback. And once the librarian, Miss Ortiz, showed me what to do, it was very easy. The only part and that was hard is you see these green strips. Those are the magnetic strips that alert the librarian if the book wasn't checked out correctly and demagnetized, the alarm would go off. Well, some of these would come off, so I had to put tape and still keep it straight as I was trying to cover it. So it was very difficult. Um, so at most schools, they have their school stamp. So at Miller, I got to stamp some books, uh, so that way they're ready to get put out. Also, in the one picture is Miss Ortiz, and she's putting one of the censor strips, and she's got it going in the middle of the book, in between the two pages, literally in the on the spine part. My favorite part of this whole thing, besides cataloging and organizing, was doing book displays. So this is the main case inside of I mean Miller High School, and it was definitely fall themed. I would say it took about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, because we had to go get the decorations out, then find books with like fall like coloring, and then start setting up the um, the bookshelf with like the straw, the leaves, and then putting books where they should go. And but the overall thing was I got to add Cassandra Clare, the Clockwork Princess, into the mix, which I'm so glad. There was also another book display that we got to make in another part of Miller High School's library. And a lot of the books that I chose came from series or books that I had read and I really enjoyed. So they made it onto the display. Uh, Miss Ortiz made this turkey box or box turkey last year, and so it held up really good. I have to say she's very talented. In fact, we got to recycle a book and got to make it into a book turkey. So this book was originally the fifth wave, but we couldn't fix it because it was missing a good amount of pages. So, besides it being ripped off of its spine, we just couldn't fix it. So, we turned it into a lovely book turkey and gave it to the principal for his birthday. Some promotion of literacy. I know AR is controversial in some things. People either like it or hate it, but I think of it as a way for students to get to read because they're getting an incentive, and most students these days work for those incentives, unfortunately. So I got to write in the students' names onto their certificate. Uh, we presented the 25-point club members, 50-point, 75-point, and there was a few 100-point club members. And besides the certificate, we had chips and airheads the students could get along with that. And it was for sixth, seventh, and eighth grade students. I got to see a few of my from sixth and seventh grade that were my students. Uh, it was good to see them. Um, at O Park, we presented and did literary character pumpkins. You could see that some of them are more movie like characters or just really strange characters, but we have Cat in the Hat, The Grinch, great books from Dr. Seuss, Dogman, uh, Pete the Cat, uh, I can't remember the little piggy, I think it's uh, Olivia, or maybe Peppa the Pig, but the kids that came to the event really seemed to enjoy it. And I have to say, parents started taking over, which was really funny, but it was good. And then for the Fiesta de los Libros, we had Diana Lopez come and visit Oak Park and do a short read from Lucky Luna. And then she got to talk to students about Coco and how Disney asked her to write a story about music, shoes, and family. Because really, Disney wanted like background information over who the characters were and how they played an important part. So we got more of the history and background of Miguel's family and where he had this instant love and connection to music. And I have to say, the event was really good, and I think she made a big impact because she is from Corpus, Corpus Christi, and the students could relate because of the places that she used, which I think makes it very relatable to our students.